Live from Miami, Florida, broadcasting around the world. You're listening to Patriots Perspective with Christi Tasker. Your news behind the government's facade. Don't fall victim to propaganda or spend another 30 days in the tech gulag. Turn off your television and just listen. Hear the most mind-opening hours of your life as we interview whistleblowers and real patriots for uncensored truth. The Commie News Network and Fake Book cannot control the power of Jesus Christ. Therefore, they have no power over us. There aren't enough Vegas strippers to fake check what's coming. Put in your earphones and avoid the tech tyrants. Subscribe to patriotsperspective.com now and see the evidence and action items to help you take back your God-given rights, government, and expose Satan and his demons taking up residence in your community. Be sure to hit the like or rumble button and comment to tell us where you're holding the line.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Patriots Perspective, where we are going to break down an interview with an amazing man. I'm just going to go ahead and bring him in, Juan Carlos. Juan Carlos, I've heard so many great things about you, buddy. And you are in the midst of a Doral City Council runoff election. So can you tell us all about that election and how you got involved and tell us about your runoff?
Well, Christi, thank you so much for inviting me to your great podcast. I'm a patriot like everybody else. I'm a Republican. I'm actually on the election of August 20th. The primary, I was elected as a committee man for the District 40, which represents Doral. Me and my wife will work for the Republican Party here in Miami. So I'm very excited about that. Well, this is my third race for the city council of the city of Doral, a city I love, okay? On November 5th, we had an election between three candidates, and there will be a runoff on December 10th between me and a runner-up. Okay, actually, the city of Doral has had a very unstable government, local government for the past 8 or 9 months. Okay, there's no control. Everybody is divided. It's completely divided. So this election is pretty important for the city of Doral and all residents of Doral. Why? Because I am going to bring the seat that is being disputed is going to bring the balance and equity to the city council that we much needed. Everything when the council doesn't work together and jointly, okay, everything gets behind in the city. I have been involved in the city for the last 4 years. I have not missed a single meeting since the last election, okay, knowing how the city works, knowing how the actual elected officials that are there react, because it's not the same thing when you're looking at it in a streaming, okay, at home, because you don't see the reactions between them and you don't see what's going on in the entire dais. Okay, so basically my interest of running for the city of Doral as a city official is because my family live here. There's a lot of problems. Doral is a very brand new city. It's 21 years old, and we have a lot of problems. Number one, we have been overdeveloped for the last 21 years without thinking about traffic issues, because then the city became, and it's a chaos when it comes to rush hour. Okay, there's no public transportation. They've been talking about traffic for 21 years, and nobody does anything. My line of business, I'm in logistics and transportation. I know how the world moves, okay? And basically, what I've been proposing is a complete redone of the trolley system. We need to develop a Doral transportation system with routes that will run from north to south, east to west, interface each other with more frequency and less units, not to mention prettier units in the city of Doral. We call our city and we brag about being a brand new city, but then the trolleys do not represent us. Trolleys represent, the old times. I love it, but it's not what represents Doral. Okay, so that's number one issue. We have the issue with the trash and the incinerator, which is a big issue in Miami.
Yes.
Okay, the incinerator burned in in February this year, and that incinerator burned trash for 11 municipalities in Miami-Dade County. What happens after it was burned? First of all, the contract was over. So, thank God it did burn. Unfortunately, it burned. And I'm glad it wasn't a big disaster because of the type of trash we were really incinerating in that place. But if it would have been something different, we could have had a disaster. Our homes are about 100 feet to 100, about 100 feet to 200 feet from the actual incinerator. So when the fire broke down, a lot of people were affected health-wise, okay? So we don't want this incinerator in our city. I have been fighting for this issue for the last 4 years together with other advocates, persons, and patriots that are against this in our city, okay? Back in 40 years ago, this incinerator, this was a swamp. There was nothing here, so it's fine. Now, before we became a city, the Miami-Dade County government changed the zonings for this particular area, and they started developing homes around the incinerator and around the medley, the trash mountain. We call it Trash Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's the highest mountain in South Miami-Dade, and it's not a beautiful sight.
No,
okay, the smell has been better ever since the incinerator burned. Okay. But Doral is facing, and it's been facing, as a city, a lot of pollutants because we have cement companies, we have canteras, which is where they drag to fill in the rest of Miami. We're making our lakes here. There's mining going on, and there's a lot of industries. So what happens? We have a lot of pollutants in the air. So there's an alternative to put this incinerator west of the turnpike on Okeechobee Road. Okay, it's been on the hands of the Miami-Dade Commission. Our commissioner, Juan Carlos Bermudez, doesn't want it in Doral, but then again, he cannot make that decision unless he gets a quorum of getting it out of there. It's the best thing because in that area, there's no population, there's no residents, and the air goes west. Obviously, the Everglades is not going to be affected. That was the main concern of the city. The only city that would really be impacted, and not really directly, will be Miramar. But then again, we can eat our trash. We need to build a resource facility to burn and incinerate the trash. Now, this site that Levin Cava, as a mayor, proposed, it used to be an airport. It used to be the West Opalaca Airport, which is, we own the land. The Dade County owns the land, so that's a big saving. We don't have to buy the land. And developing this, it will be like a big campus of trash because we will do composting. They will do trash recycling and the incinerator, and always keep the land there. I think Doral already served the purpose. We had an opportunity to put this as a question in the ballot on November 5th. Okay, and the current administration didn't think about it.
They didn't put it there.
Didn't put it there. Instead, they put 10 questions amending the City of Doral Code, okay, the charter, which is, believe it or not, this is going to be the last runoff. There were 10 questions, and one of them was, do you think the runoffs should be eliminated? And it did. So I will be the last runoff on December 10th.
Wow.
On the City of Doral.
So whoever wins the majority is just going to go into the seat? Is that the way it's working?
No. Well, it goes into the majority. Who gets the most votes from now on will be the elected official. What happens? They use this to put more candidates and spread the vote around. Okay. Now you really have to be a good candidate to run because you will not be used to segregate the votes. Okay. So I'm up for that one, and I'm glad I'm the last one on the rocket. Okay. Another thing is that
let me clarify for the audience. Let me just clarify a few things that I'm knowing what you're talking about, because they do, like, for instance, I ran for city commission here in the city of Miami, and there at one point there was 15 candidates put in to try to divide the vote. And then with those 15 candidates, you really have to make a decision. And some people were like, saying, oh, well, they like this person, but they may like you and one other person, but they're going to vote for the other person until there's a runoff till you can like prove yourself to them. So that is a problem with too many people put in to run to divide the vote. And also what that does is it also in like town halls and things, people can't listen to 15 candidates. So it's very difficult, even 3 or 4 candidates. That makes it a little bit more difficult. So you'll get whoever gets the most airtime, which obviously you and your opponent did. So tell us a little bit, Juan Carlos, I'm sorry to interrupt, but with this piece, the other thing that voters will no longer have to pay for is they will no longer have to pay for 2 elections. So people, so and tell us about the cost of your elections, because
the elections, a regular election, since the whole mechanism of the election department goes into place, is probably between $18,000 to $50,000. A runoff election, especially if you're the only one, like this one, there's going to be 5 runoff elections in Miami-Dade. I think Miami Lakes is running for election as well, a runoff election, Miami Beach, North Miami, and I think another city. But in the city of Doral, by experience, because I had another runoff on 2020, and the election paid the runoff election cost about $58,000. So that saves money. There's a lot of money you can do with $58,000 in a short budget of $110 million that we have in the city. This runoff election is actually deciding the swing vote. There's 5 council members in the city of Doral. The mayor is a vote and 4 council seats. Each and one of them have the same power. So ruling the majority, the mayor is endorsing my opponent. To control the majority of the vote. Now, if that happens 4 years straight, we will have no chance to see, and we will have to live by what they do. In my point of view, I will be the balance, because I am not tied to any political ties between this administration or the other group. I am here for the residents of the city of Doral. Go ahead.
Well, I was also very interested to find that Christi Fraga is your mayor. That didn't she recently host AOC? And didn't she recently host AOC? Can you tell us a little bit about that? I was really surprised to see that she hosted AOC.
Well, she did. Sometimes I cannot understand a lot of things that she does. Back in the old days, I supported Christi Fraga. She supported me in my prior election. But unfortunately, like I was told, you have criteria, and I don't need that. I need somebody that could really follow my steps. You see, when you have criteria, you think about what the problem is, not the person. And this is what I'm going to do for the city of Doral. I'm going to work.
And it's important for people to understand too that maybe you're a candidate that cannot be controlled by any force. So I want to say this to the citizens of Doral. I don't really know you, Juan Carlos. I don't know Christi Fraga directly, nor do I know the agendas. But sometimes what I look at on the political forefront is sometimes you want a person that's not connected to your other politicians, because maybe they're not already bought off, or there's no opportunity to buy them off. So that's something that citizens really need to start paying attention to, that we need to start electing the person that maybe does not have the most money or the political influence or the political power that's in play, and give you an opportunity, see what you're going to do for the citizens versus, already going into office, having to work directly for the other politicians that endorsed you.
That is precisely the problem. Let me explain. In this election, we had Fraga was for re-election, and seat number 1 was for re-election. So seat number 3 did not run. There was no incumbent. So what happened? They made a slate of 3: Fraga, Piñeiro, and Reynoso. So what happens? The whole force of Fraga, Piñeiro, and Reynoso went into what is called the patio of promoting all candidates. Well, they were surprised to know that I got 8,321 hard votes because I had no slate. I had directly contact with them. For the last 4 years, I have been hand to hand, knocking on doors, talking to people, in getting involved in the city. I was the chair for the Economic Advisory Board of the city. I had to resign when I became a candidate, okay, for ethics problem. I own a radio station in Doral called Doral Voice. It's a community radio station. We started in 2021, okay, to let the residents know what really was the problems. And this is it has a variety of programming, okay. It's talk radio in Spanish, okay, but maybe we can put your podcast also.
So I was going to say, well, tell us how can viewers hear it? Yes, I welcome anybody to share any of the information any of the journalism that I do on your broadcast, because it is the only way we're going to find the truth. I say somewhere in the middle is the truth. I mean, I look at what Democrats say, I look at what Republicans say, and oftentimes I find that there's a common denominator that creates a uniparty against us, the people. At times, as I am the elected committee woman for District 17. So, and I had, listen, I had people running against me that had lawsuits directly from New York saying that, they stole their dogs. I mean, so this is a very serious situation. We have to look at these things, and we also have to communicate them because our county is so big. And then it's very divided in terms of language itself too. So, I welcome any Spanish speakers to take, the information that I'm giving you, look it up for yourself. If you can't,
we'll put subtitles on your program. Okay, believe me, it's very interesting. We do have an alliance with community newspapers. They also do some programming because obviously there is room for everybody. We run 14 programs a week. Okay, different programs. We have art programs. We have everything, and we did this to serve the city of Doral. Okay, when we open up the radio station, we get about 1,500 boxes of free food after the pandemic. Okay, so I'm actually an activist that will help the city. I am not in it for the money. I'm not in it for the power. I'm in it because my grandchildren live in Doral. I'm in it because my family lives in Doral, and the city is a beautiful city to live. There is a lot of problems. There's the wasteful spending on our government. We have $110 million budget. Okay, 450 people work for the city. The assistant of the assistant of the assistant. Okay, we need to support our local businesses because that was the first beginning. To begin with, we became a city because of the amount of businesses we had. Okay, that's why Kendall is not a city, because there's a lot of residents, and homes do not leave money to municipalities. Okay, the transparency and accountability is a must. Okay, we got to tell the people we need to have the residents audit the finance of our government. Okay, not just spend it like if there's nobody hurting there. Improve our traffic, and I already said that. And I'm against overdevelopment. I have not received any donations between any major donor, developers, whatever it is. I am here for the residents. And it is nice to know that the support of the residents is taking me to a runoff, and I'm the highest qualified to do this. My opponent has been an assistant of Fraga for many years. I have nothing against them, okay, but you have to really work. You're not there just to vote. You're there to work for your city, okay? I'm a businessman. I'm a reputable businessman, and I have worked very hard for this city.
Well, and Juan Carlos, not only that, have you tried to get information out to the people? And like you just said, you're not going against Christi Fraga or her administrator, but it's a good idea to have an extra voice that's not already in a department or aligned with the mayor, because you want a separate voice, because if not, you're going to continue. I mean, that's how regimes get started. Not saying that that's what they're trying to do. But that is how regimes get started. And it's very important for the people of Miami-Dade County to often realize, listen, if you see a politician endorsing another candidate, then, that's what you're going to get. They're already going to owe those people. So no matter who it is or what it is, when you can see the alliances within the money. And I admire you, Juan Carlos, for, realizing that overdevelopment is a problem in Miami-Dade County, because it is an overdevelopment in the city of Miami as well. And Doral is being built up very fast, very quick. And can you tell because we have a huge international audience, what else is located in Doral? Can you tell us some very odd
we have a lot of headquarters of many large corporations. We just lost DHL because no benefits. We got to keep the companies. They just sold Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines a building, and they just sold Carnival. Okay, what happens on 87th Avenue, which is the main artery of our city? There's 4,500 units being considered to be built. They're now on the first reading. When I get in there, I will be on the second reading. Unless these developers, because obviously we welcome the private investment. Okay, it brings a lot of funds into the city, but we got to do this in an orderly fashion. We got to do this. We got to span the streets. Okay, and we got to do things correctly. We're becoming a rental community. What happens with rental community? There's a lot of flips, okay, and there's no search of ownership in our city. Okay, there's actually all of those are going to be rental properties. Okay, including Trump National Doral.
Yeah, you have Trump National Doral, and regarding those rental properties, I want everybody to understand how this actually hurts your family in the long run, because your children will not be able to afford a residence in Doral at all, because you will have BlackRock, Blackstone, Vanguard that will own those properties most likely underneath a shell company, and they will rent them to you. So you will own nothing and be happy, according to the World Economic Forum. So you need to be very cautious of this.
Very much. And one of the most thing is, like, we approve, okay, administrations have approved in first reading this type of project based on the fact that they're going to build workforce housing. Who's going to supervise that? There's got to be a task force that will really supervise that. They will probably do it on an audit, for the first year. We will lose unless we put a task force supervising that those units. 30% of your build out is going to be dedicated to our firefighters, our teachers, our workforce, our hospital workers, and including our own workforce. Doral is 110,000 people visit Doral. We're only 82,000 residents, but we are a work center. Now, we would love for those people to have some type of ownership and feel and stay in the city. They will help our local economy, okay, by having that. But we have to do that. Now, 95% of our neighborhoods are closed communities with the homeowners associations. The amount of fraud that is being done to owners on homeowners associations, because there's no task force between the Miami Police Department, the Miami Metro-Dade Police Department, and our department. For God's sake, we don't have a court in Doral. We are such a big city.
Yeah, tell us exactly what you will do differently. Like, tell us your bullet points of what you're planning to do, what your action items are in the first your first 100 days in office.
Well, I already told you my number one priority is changing the transportation system. You cannot develop an urban city without a proper transportation system. You cannot build New York without the subway, put it that way. So if we cannot build the subway because of the way we are structured. We got to do it on the top. We got to give alternatives, fuel vehicles, okay, to help the incentivize people to leave their cars at home. Okay, if you give them frequency and you give them the right transportation, they will leave their cars at home, if not sell one, because every household probably has two cars. And that's another issue that we're facing. Our kids are growing, and because of the economy in the nation, okay, they're staying at home. So they're buying their cars and they're allowing 2 cars per let's say a townhouse. Where is this young man going to park his car? We have a parking problems for a future, for a young next generation. So we got to deal. We got to deal with this. I have a plan. Unfortunately, I cannot say it because tomorrow morning, I guarantee you they will do it. I will do it for the city of Doral. I have a lot of plans for it. Okay. Another thing is that the towing companies that are towing these cars in these neighborhoods are not based in Doral. So our people have to drive to North Miami Beach or North Miami to pick up their cars. That's not fair. No, if you want to have a towing company rights to work in Doral, you better have a land in Doral so that my people can pick up their car at a cheaper, because they charge by the mile. That's another issue. Nobody looks at it. How about the tips in restaurants? We have so many restaurants, and they came with this mentality of putting now a service charge. And people are being fooled because after the service charge, when you give them the credit card receipt says additional tip. So it's either or. Besides, processing companies of credit cards are not, it's illegal to charge when you use a credit card. You're not supposed to be paying for their service. It's part of their cost. Okay. And I will do the first thing is an ordinance to do this. And let's do this in an orderly fashion because our people are hurting. Our pockets are hurting. Economy, I don't know whether people used to, the people that are leaving our government buy their food. But, 4 years ago, honey maple turkey at Publix was $9.99. Right now it's $14.99. So it's 50%. Okay. So we got to go back. We got to make some benefits for our people. We got to give them programs, okay, for our kids, okay, to go to school, have sports, after school programs, all those things together with the Miami-Dade County public school system. You see, if it's not our responsibility, this is the mentality of a regular politician. If it's not our responsibility, we're not going to get involved. No, right. It is your responsibility to give the right quality of life to our residents. And how you do that? By dealing with others that are responsible to do that. Like, for instance, the traffic, you got to go to Miami-Dade and tell them, hey, you need to synchronize my traffic lights. Because they're all, you stop here, you go next one, and then you stop on the other one. That generates traffic. Nobody sees those things because we are looking at Facebook or, social media. I don't know. I came here to work, and I know I'm going to be a great councilman for my city. And, I'm here to work.
I believe you are too, Juan Carlos. I've really loved what you've said here, and I love your passion. And, I want to encourage all Doral voters to get out and vote for you, give you an opportunity. You obviously love it. You're the committee man for the GOP. Yes. So really quick, Juan Carlos, if I advocate for you for the endorsement for Veterans for America First, which
I was going to say that. I'm going to say you're a very busy woman, and I congratulate you. I really congratulate your patriotism. Count on my endorsement, okay, to the BFAF.
Okay, yes, that's correct. But I want you, but I would like to advocate for VAFF to endorse you as a candidate. So that's Veterans for America First. That is the first grassroots coalition of veterans that actually endorsed Trump in 2015 before he came down the escalator. So I want to advocate for your endorsement from that particular group. I am the national ambassador. So how will you work to put Americans first in your city?
Well, first, I'm going to endorse you with a beautiful video. I'm going to prepare you and send it to you. I thank you for your service. You are very well dedicated to this organization, being one of the top directors on it. And
no, I want to endorse you.
How do we do this?
So I'm going to advocate for your endorsement. So I need to know. I need you to answer the question of how will you put Americans first in your city?
How would I put it? Well, we have a veterans part. How about that? Why don't we get you involved?
No. How will you, as
Americans first?
Yeah, as the Doral City Council, how will you put Americans first in your city? Because believe it or not,
Americans are the base.
We have
are
all
you
these
talking about the organization, or are you talking the citizens?
No, I'm talking about a very simple question. It's a very simple question. Believe it or not, throughout the United States of America, Trump has called it out, where we have some cities that have given illegal aliens solitude and given them housing before they've given American citizens housing. So I want to know, how will Juan Carlos, for the city of Doral, what will you do if anybody tries to just turn radically overnight, if they were to absolutely get control, because that could happen. It's happened in multiple cities where mayors and some of their people have gotten control of the city. They have actually given non-citizens, they've given them the rights to vote. By the way, Trump lost in every place that had no voter ID. He lost in every place such as New York City, which is actually given housing to non-citizens, and the taxpayers for that city, for New York City, are paying for those people. So what will Juan Carlos do to put Americans first and their priorities first?
Well, I'm up for number one, voters ID. Voters ID is a must. Okay, I'm up for a Doral citizens ID or residence ID. Why? Because we have a very large investment. We just invested $190 million in a park. Okay, and it's going to be Miami Central Park. It's not going to be Doral Central Park. A lot of people will come. It's going to be like a theme park, water, skates, you name it, whatever it is. Now, for me, the citizens of the United States is the priority. The veterans of the United States is my priority. There's no such a thing as local elections, not because the system doesn't allow it. It is a right of a U.S. citizen to become and to vote for our government, not a foreigner, not nothing. I object illegal immigration 100%. Okay, even though investors of another countries can come and invest in our city, okay, we will guide them to do the right investment. But we're here to serve the residents and the citizens of the United States. And as long as I am in that seat, I will protect the American system of elections the way it is right now. Our good friend Alina Garcia was elected, okay, for the commission. Yes. in the city, in the election department. Very important. Elections. Very important. I said, exactly. I throughout the campaign, I said the most important election is that one. We cannot lose this election for Alina Garcia, which is a neutral person, an American, and she is a GOP member. Very much.
Yes.
Okay,
and Dario Fernandez for tax collector. So okay,
Daniel,
so let's go here really quick, and then I'm going to let you go. Governor DeSantis made it illegal for communists to own any more land in the state of Florida. Will you make sure that your citizens are aware whenever there are communist regimes? Like, will you go an extra layer and search a little bit deeper when there are developers from foreign lands or foreign countries trying to purchase land in Doral? You at least make sure the citizens of Doral are aware and know about it.
I'm a native of Venezuela. Can you imagine how many Venezuelans have been here? We need to do our homework. We cannot allow foreign dictators and people that have made money out of Venezuelan people, out of Venezuelan, to come and invest it here. I'm 100% pro the Ron DeSantis law, okay? And I will make sure that we build a task force, and our police, our investigators, our code enforcement knows about this and follows that law, okay? We in our city, due to Commando South Command here in Doral, okay, they're building an actual neighborhood for military people. Okay, they're actually going to be run by the Southern Command. So we will have a lot of presence of military in our city. So we have to protect our roads. We have to protect our land. We have to protect the foreigners. Like say right here, I don't know how they're doing it right now. I will have to investigate. But there is a lot of Chinese. There is a lot of foreigners. There's a lot of Venezuelan with communist mentality coming into this country. There's a lot of Cubans. The other day they found a Cuban that was one of the highest ranking suppressing officers of the regime, and he's living in Miami. This should not happen in this town. We got to get these people out of here. Okay?
That's right.
And I guarantee you we will do this.
That's right, Carlos. And listen, we all need to make sure that you're elected. Make sure that you guys share this video. Carlos, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And guys, make sure you share the video. Make sure you share it with your neighbors. We'll try to get it translated into Spanish for the Spanish speakers to make sure.
I will put subtitles in Spanish and broadcast it in our radio station, Doral Voice.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much,
Chris,
Carlos.
You have been so good. Thank you. Thank you for being a great American.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah, I wasn't asking for your endorsement because I'm not running for anything. I wanted to make sure
but you deserve that. You deserve the credit. You do.
Oh,
deserve
thank
the
you.
credit.
I appreciate that, and I admire you for running. Listen, anybody that's running for office, no matter which side you're on, I admire it. As the citizens, we just need to wake up and we need to realize that sometimes we need to give an opportunity to the person who is not already endorsed by the politicians. Especially if you want to change. If you want the same old, go with the person endorsed by the politician. If you want something new, try the person who's not. God bless you, Juan Carlos, and everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Remember, take action. Take action. Don't let big tech win. Share this video with a friend now. Most importantly, do unto others as you would have others do unto you.